Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. Today, we're going ahead and diving into the top neighborhoods here in the Kansas City Northland area. We'll be going over Briarcliffe, Riss Lake, Woodneath Farms, Staley Farms, National, and Thousand Oaks. Now, if this is your first time to my channel, let me introduce myself. I am Big Mike, and I'm a local Kansas City real estate agent specializing here in the Kansas City Northland area. And I'm going to be your local guide in just this specific video here and all the other ones on my channel. So press the like button, sit back, relax. We'll be diving into everything there is to know about each one of these neighborhoods, the goods and the bads about them. So first one we'll be diving into is actually Riss Lake here in the Parkville, Missouri area. So as the name lets on, it is a neighborhood surrounding a lake. And with this lake access, you get a little bit minimal boat access. You get fishing, kayaking. There's multiple tennis courts. There are multiple playgrounds. There are multiple pools. And these houses range anywhere from $500,000 to a couple $1 million if you go to the estates of Riss Lake. Now, these houses were built in the early 2000s, so some of them are a little bit dated, and those houses are probably going for $600,000 to $700,000 range. The $500,000 era is probably a house that needs a little bit more work. Just to give you perspective on that one, this is in the Park Hill School District, and it's one of the most highly sought after school districts here in the entire Kansas City Northland area. Everyone loves the Park Hill School District. It's actually the district that I went ahead and actually graduated from. So definitely know that end of everything. Now, the second one we'll be diving into is the National over here in Parkville, Missouri. And this one actually has one of the most highly sought after golf courses in the entire Missouri area. And the memberships here are highly sought after also just the same. Now, you could go ahead and get into like a beginner house in this area, the National, and you're probably looking at 500, 600,000. If you have the money, this is the most luxury neighborhood to be a part of, private gated community in the very back. I mean, houses can easily range from the 3 million plus mark, which is top of the line here in Kansas City if you're not familiar. This neighborhood has been known to knock down houses and rebuild. So the money here definitely flows. The golf course, like I was saying, highly sought after. And then all the amenities included. There's pools, fitness centers, fine dining restaurant. And then on top of everything, it's just that private gated community that many top echelon style of people really try to find. Now, the next one on this list is going to be Briarcliffe. And Briarcliffe is the closest neighborhood to downtown Kansas City. So if you're still needing to go to downtown Kansas City every single day, this neighborhood ranges anywhere from like 600,000 to you could easily find a house about $1.5 million mark at the very high side of Briarcliffe. Most of these houses are a little bit on the dated side, but for where the house is located and where the land is, you can't build for cheaper than what the house is. I mean, you're talking about lots, let's say Palisades of Riverside. A single lot there is $250K just for the ground it's built on, and that's nothing special. Maybe a 10,000 square foot lot will get you that. So these Briarcliffe houses are 6,000 square foot. So if to build what you want to build in today's time, you're probably talking 2 to 2.5 million for that area right now. Now, Briarcliffe does not have any pools. It does have walking trails. It does have sidewalks. It does have scenic views, but there's not a lot of community going on here. It's more of just a very upscale neighborhood, and it's not a community feel like some of these other neighborhoods with community pools, community events, a lot of kids. This is an older style neighborhood just because of the houses that were built and the price point that it is, just to give you perspective. Now, the second one is the second most sought after golf course community, and it's actually Staley Farms. And this is one that I'm actually specializing in. I have about 15 off-market properties right now in Staley Farms, all within the golf course. And this one is actually pretty special to me because growing up, this one was always a neighborhood that I loved being a part of. So Staley Farms is, the golf course is phenomenal, but the price point of the houses start probably about $650. Maybe let's say 600. It starts off that. And then if you want one on the golf course, you're probably talking about $750 minimum. and you can go ahead and go new build up to a couple million if you like. Now, after that, it starts to get a little bit questionable. So be thinking about, if you do want to move to here, is this worth the dollar? And is it worth the time to build? And how long do you want to be here? Because this golf course is highly sought after, but I'm not sure if it'll be catching up to the National anytime soon. It's just too many lower price houses that it would ever justify a $2 or $3 million house in this one. But this one is in Staley High School area, and this is the most sought after high school for the entire North Kansas City School District. And there are multiple pools involved. There are walking trails. There is the golf course. This one has a strong community involved. And when you're a part of Staley Farms, there's so many different events, including at the clubhouse, that you're always invited to many different fundraising events that you're a part of. And if you're a networker like me, those are all very beneficial to have in the long term of living in this style of neighborhood. These neighborhood houses, they're probably about 3,500, 4,000 square foot to be on the 600,000 range. And I would say probably about 10% of the houses over here probably have pools. So if that is important to you, that is an access. Now, if you don't want to have a pool, there are multiple pools in this neighborhood. And like I was saying, most of the golf course lots, I mean, there's so many houses within the golf course that are sitting on the golf range. Next neighborhood on this list is Wildwood Farms. And for those that don't know, this one is probably the most highly sought after neighborhood here in the Liberty School District area. It's over here in Kansas City. It has one of the best libraries involved. And on top of that, it has plenty of walking trails and pools and just overall green spaces. Now, this neighborhood ranges anywhere from 450 to, on the high side, about 700, 750 range. And these all houses are about 3,000, 3,500 square foot. They're a mixture of 1.5, 2 stories, not so much reverse 1.5s, but there are ranches. And this one is just very popular because there's such a strong knit community. There's many community events, just like the Staley Farms area. So many different community events that so many people are part of. A lot of PTA moms will be a part of this neighborhood, and it's really close to everything Liberty has to offer. And just because Liberty is booming so quickly, Wildwood Farms is a very, very highly sought after neighborhood just because property values are rising so significantly and so quickly. So just to give you a little bit of perspective on that one. All right, the last and final neighborhood on this one is Thousand Oaks. And Thousand Oaks is a neighborhood that starts probably about 400, 450, and it's very hard to find a house for that cheap. You're probably looking at a house that's pretty dated. It's kind of on the smaller side and has one of the most non-desirable lots. New builds in this community are going about 800 to 850 plus. We just closed on a house a few months ago, and it was a 4,500 square foot house, sold for $715, and my buddy has one of the most desirable lots overlooking almost the entire neighborhood, just to give you perspective. And this neighborhood has multiple pools involved. I know the developer actually just purchased the back lot that will be installing walking trails. And just like a few of these other neighborhoods, this one is in the Park Hill School District also, and it has a very strong kid community. So if you were looking to be trying to be a part of something greater, this may be a idea for you. There's multiple pools, and not just multiple pools. There is a phenomenal pool. Like you would easily want to pay money to, just a giant, giant pool. So you get that. On top of that, there's tennis courts. There has to be, I think there's pickleball courts. I can't remember all the amenities that's involved. Plenty of walking throughout the neighborhood. And on top of that, they have so many different community events like golf carts, parades. They have so close to Parkville. Parkville has so many different events going on. It's just the most highly sought after neighborhood for people that love everything about Parkville community. Personally, my favorite neighborhood over in Parkville, over Wrist Lake. The houses are a lot more up to date normally. And compared to Wrist Lake, I think it's more of a deal. And on top of that, they're building in there. So it's when you have a neighborhood that's constantly building, those houses will only go up and up and up in value. So it's something that you really want to keep track of. Maybe this is not your forever home, but at least you'll be able to resale the house in the future with ease. So there you have it. Those are just the top neighborhoods, in my opinion, here in the Kansas City Northland area. And Once again, I'm Big Mike. And if you want to check out any of these houses, or you're like, man, you know what? I want to know a little bit more information about this house, feel free to reach out to me. Send me a quick text. Just say, hey, I saw your video and I'd like to know more about Thousand Oaks. You mind giving me some information? Well, I'll go ahead and set up a call with you and answer all the questions you could possibly think of. So until next time, remember, Big Mike sells KC and Big Mike is out.